Hey, good morning, Big Al. Yeah, a very big day. Actually, all ramps are now open, both eastbound and westbound. We just saw that traffic light switch. We were waiting on it to go from green, switch over to yellow, which it just did a few minutes ago. We do have Tom Herman here with us with the Arizona Department of Transportation. Thank you so much for waking up so early this morning.
Glad to be here.
A big day for this part of town.
Oh, this is fantastic. People around here have been working for about 2 years. This is a dramatically improved interchange. It'll help traffic flow. It'll help driver safety. We're excited that it's now open. We sat here and just watched the last light go. We watched the first vehicles go about 30 minutes ago. So we're open and we're excited about it.
Now, there is one portion of this I-10 road project that isn't done yet, and it's the portion that goes over the Santa Cruz River. So tell me about that.
Correct. I-10 has been 2 lanes from I-10 over to the river. We're in the process of widening that to 4 lanes. We put our early focus here to make sure we get this interchange back open. It'll take us about 2 more months to get those 4 lanes of I-10 opened. The new bridges are all completed. Everything else is ready. We just have to finish the paving.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning, Tom. I really appreciate it. And like we mentioned earlier, both westbound and eastbound ramps are open. We've had a few cars go through now, so we're just kind of waiting for all of that confusion to settle down and people to start realizing that all of those ramps are open. But again, a huge day for this part of town. For now, in Marana, Veronica Acosta, KGUN 9 on your side.
Okay, a lot of people will be excited about that. Thank you, Veronica. Well, you may soon start seeing more police on Oracle Road and McGee. Starting today, the Oro Valley Police Department will begin its high visibility enforcement, or HIVE program. That includes more officers on the roads. The idea is to reduce the number of crashes because of unsafe driving. Motorcycle officers will be patrolling, looking for speeders, drivers that get too close to other cars, and distracted drivers as well.
A developing story now at 5:33. A sentencing date has now been set for one of the men involved in the Backpage.com prostitution scheme. Dan Heyer, the sales and marketing director for the site, will be back in court in July, facing sentencing for conspiring to facilitate prostitution. Backpage.com has been warned in the past to stop running advertising for prostitution. In all, 6 others affiliated with Backpage.com face charges in that case. Authorities say the site has brought in $500 million in prostitution-related revenue since its inception in 2004.
The National Park Service says it will be treating areas near the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon with herbicide to control some invasive plant species there. The agency said the treatments will run from Monday through April 30th. An environmental assessment prepared a decade ago for the park's exotic plant management said chemical pest control would be better than no action, and they say it would have no significant negative impact on park ecology.
With medications becoming so expensive, some people are looking to other countries. How some customers, though, are getting fake medications instead.
And the measles outbreaks across the world are breaking records. How many new cases have been recently reported? And the Boston Marathon was yesterday. All those runners are recovering this morning. How some Tucsonans placed in the iconic race. It's 5:35. You're watching Good Morning Tucson.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side sports.
Well, golfer Tiger Woods will soon be given the nation's highest civilian honor. President Trump tweeted that he had spoken with Woods about his Masters victory. He said he called to, quote, inform him that because of his incredible success and comeback in sports and, more important, life, I will be presenting him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Again, that was from President Trump. Woods won his 5th Masters title over the weekend after not having won a major in more than a decade.
Well, Tucsonan Sarah Sellers backed up last year's 2nd place finish in the Boston Marathon with a very respectable 19th place finish this week. Now, on the men's side, Tucson's Abdi Abdirahman came in 26th. If you take a look at your screen here, Sellers is the one in the blue tank top and visor closest to us. She actually improved her time by 8 minutes this year, but did face some really tough competition. Ethiopian Worknesh Dafika won the women's race in a time of 2 hours and 23 minutes. Also, check out the men's finish. There is Cherno against Desisa in a very sprint to the end. Toronto won with a time of just under 2 hours and 8 minutes. This was his first Boston Marathon, so a huge congratulations to all of them. Hope they're getting some rest here this morning. Well, medical marijuana might be legal in a number of states, but it could have other health risks as well.
That's right. How the drug could be affecting how much anesthesia you need for medical procedures.
We're still expecting a chance for rain overnight. We'll go over the timing and totals. Also, a brief dip to the 70s. I'll have all of the information coming up.
April, thanks. But first, AT&T is selling its stake in Hulu, even as the streaming service continues to gain popularity.
ABC's Kenneth Moten and Janae Norman have the details in today's Tech Bites. Welcome back now. Thanks for being here with us. Some health news for you now at 5:45. The number of measles cases in the United States is approaching a record. Just in 1 week, 90 new measles cases were reported in the U.S. More than 500 measles cases were reported in 2019. That's the second highest number for the United States in 25 years, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And we're only 4 months into the year. Measles was declared eliminated in the U.S. in the year 2000. That won't change unless the disease is continuously transmitted for longer than 12 months. Well, if you use cannabis, you might want to let your doctor know before having procedures that need anesthesia. A new study shows people reported smoking or using edibles on a daily or weekly basis needed as much as 2 times the level of sedation than non-users. Researchers in Grand Junction, Colorado, looked at 250 patients that required endoscopic procedures. They found patients who regularly used cannabis needed 14% more fentanyl and 220% more propofol for sedation. Well, the FDA just sent a letter to a Canadian drug company accused of sending people fake prescription drugs.
Kamasi Aaron spoke to a woman who thought she was getting cheaper allergy medications.
I was a new professional and just trying to save some money because it was so expensive.
Allie Schreier was all in when her doctor told her she could save hundreds of dollars a month on her allergy medication by ordering it online.
You need a prescription from me, but you just put the prescription in on the computer and then they send you the medication, no problem. And it's way cheaper than getting it here. Great.
She ordered the prescription on a website claiming to be an online Canadian pharmacy.
It looked exactly like what I had been taking for years and years, and so I really didn't think anything of it.
But in a few weeks, she started to feel strange.
I had stomach pains and headaches and kind of achiness. I would go almost into shock. Like I would really get clammy and hot and get like these fever spikes.
When she told a family member about the medication she got online, they did some research and found the site had a reputation for selling counterfeit drugs.
So I threw it away. And within just about 2 weeks, I felt completely better.
Allie's story is a cautionary tale of the dangers. The FDA recently issued a warning letter about Canadian drug distributor CannaRx, saying it supplied unapproved and misbranded drugs to consumers in the United States.
For them to take this kind of action is a little bit unusual.
Dr. Carmen Catazon is executive director of the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
If you order medicines online and think they're getting them from Canada, they're probably not coming from Canada. If you walk into a pharmacy in Canada, then those are medications that are safe and have been approved by Canada.
An attorney for the company says CannaRx only facilitates the sale of drugs by American pharmaceutical companies licensed by the FDA in original packaging. But Dr. Catazon says because the U.S. can't regulate drugs from other countries, it's hard to know exactly where drugs you buy online come from.
If something sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Look for something that's licensed and for a site where you can get information from a state agency or federal government about.
We're all subject to being victims to this.
Allie has decided not to shop online for any prescriptions.
You just don't know enough about where it comes from.
I'm Kamasi Aaron reporting.
Well, for people who don't make a lot of money, getting health insurance through work is apparently way more expensive than getting it from the marketplace. New numbers just came out that show a low-income family will pay about 14% of their income for a plan through work. That same family pays 8.4% of their income for a plan on the marketplace. The new data also shows out-of-pocket costs were more for people who have insurance from work. A woman or women who make long daily commutes while pregnant are more likely to have birth complications. Yeah, a new study out there says women who commute 60 miles could be more likely to need a C-section and to have a smaller than normal baby. That study also found the commute reduces the chances a mom-to-be goes to her prenatal doctor's appointments. Researchers say commuting adds to existing stress, no doubt about that, and takes up time that could be spent on prenatal care. With the popularity of higher fat paleo and keto diets, it seems as if carbohydrates are getting pushed off people's plates.
Yeah, but removing an entire food group from your diet can actually do more harm than good, some say. In today's Health Minute, Melissa Rainey has a smarter way to look at carbs.
If there's any facet of nutrition that tends to get a bad rap, it's usually carbs. People love to hate carbs, especially if they're trying to lose a few inches. But carbs are pretty essential in more ways than you might have guessed. Based on a daily 1,800 calorie diet, the Institute of Medicine recommends that adults get 45 to 65% of their calories from carbs. That means about half of what you're eating on a daily basis should come from, you guessed it, carbohydrates. And the more natural and unprocessed they are, the better for your health. So next time you're grocery shopping, consider these few alternatives. Instead of white rice, opt for brown rice or quinoa. And instead of cookies or sweets, opt for fresh or even dried fruits. According to a research scientist in the Department of Nutrition at Harvard, when it comes to your diet, try not to give too much mind space to one particular thing. Rather, focus your goal on your overall health. For today's Health Minute, I'm Melissa Rainey.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side. First warning weather with meteorologist April Madison.
Good morning, 10 till 6, still sitting at 54 degrees. I'm going to step out of the way, though. Look at this gorgeous sunrise. Boy, we see a lot of those, especially if we have just enough cloud cover in the sky with our sunrises and sunsets. And that's what we're seeing this morning with this beautiful sunrise. And for now, wind is calm. So a gorgeous morning if you want to get out there, maybe enjoy a nice little walk or hike before the wind picks up. It is going to be a cooler day, but you may not want to do much outside later this afternoon. Although temps will be cooler, the wind will be very strong by this afternoon across most of southern Arizona. Highs are going to get into the 70s and a lot less 80s. In fact, some areas won't even make it out of the 60s out west, and then overnight we'll drop down. Seeing a little rain-cooled air overnight, dropping us down into the 40s and 50s. Yeah, this is the reason for it. That cold front, our next spring storm, bringing on cooler temps, some pretty strong winds, and yes, some overnight rain. There it is. We're talking winds anywhere from 15, maybe even up to 25 miles per hour across many locations in southern Arizona, with wind gusts maybe even as high as 30 at times. Overnight it'll die down, but that's when the rain will hit. Any sort of rain we get is likely going to be an overnight event. Let's take a look at what's going on. We're seeing all of our cloud cover right now, mainly to our north. Radar glitching just a little bit, but I can tell you it's coming from right there. The center of circulation is in northern California, and it's sinking down, pretty much impacting all of California into Nevada and Utah right now. The entire system will come down like that from the northwest, sinking to the southeast. And I'd say by about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight is when we'll see our first kind of round of rain starting to move in, and then overnight into the early morning hours of Wednesdays when we anticipate that moving through, bringing on at least some rain. Not a lot because it's going to move so quickly, but anywhere from a few hundredths of an inch to some areas even making it up to a tenth or maybe 2 tenths up in the Catalinas before it's all said and done. It'll move out quickly, but leaving some cool air behind it. 73 on Wednesday. A quick rebound, though, back to the 80s Thursday, and now even 94 by Friday. A little bit cooler for your Easter Sunday. Big Al?
7 minutes till 6 o'clock, April. We have a couple of things. First of all, an issue out near Rita Ranch, Valencia and Old Vale Road. This is just east of the construction work along Valencia and Kolb, so that's a problem for us getting out of Rita Ranch this morning. Stone and Drackman, hazard in the clearing stage, and then up to our big story of the morning, westbound I-10, eastbound I-10, still picking up barricades, but they're far enough past the Ina Road exit that people are going up the exit ramp and are now exiting. All 4 exit ramps on and off are open at Ina Road. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Big Al, thank you. The UK just proposed strict online child privacy laws. Those rules would stop social media sites from letting children like other content. It would also ban companies from giving kids rewards for spending a lot of time online. Regulators say both things help get children hooked. Now, if this does become law, social media companies could be fined up to 4% of all of their profits. When a product you buy says made in the USA, you probably assume it was put together right here in the U.S. by American workers, right? Well, not always the case.
Yeah, consumer reporter John Matteries shows us why some companies are not afraid to bend the rules so you don't waste your money.
One of the best ways to support the American economy is to buy products made in the USA instead of China or elsewhere. But a new report says plenty of products that claim to be American made may be fudging the truth.
If you play hockey, what's better than a Patriot puck made in the USA? Only problem, it was really made in China, according to the Federal Trade Commission. Nectar sleep mattresses also claimed assembled in the USA, but the FTC says they were not. Ditto for a variety of military gear marketed to veterans, where even hats and American flags were really from China. The FTC recently settled with all those companies, which have now agreed to stop making those false claims. But from the Doesn't That Stink file, while this will not be the last time a Chinese-made product is claimed to be American-made, a New York Times report says even though these companies falsely labeled their products made in the USA, their financial penalty was $0. If you paid extra for a made-in-the-USA item, you might say, doesn't that stink? But the Times report says with the lack of any real penalty, there's little incentive for other companies to stop making false claims.
So sure, look for American-made products when you're shopping, but don't be surprised if you find a company is stretching the truth a bit so you don't waste your money. I'm John Batteries, KGUN 9, on your side.
All right, Mark, you're in luck.
Why?
It's a special food holiday.
We like that. Right? What food is being celebrated today? We're going to talk about it after the break. It is 5:55. Stay with us. This is certainly true, extremely true. It's not my favorite day of the year, but it is National Eggs Benedict Day.
Very specific. So you may know the classic recipe calls for a toasted English muffin topped with a poached egg, bacon or ham, and creamy hollandaise sauce. Eggs Benedict is perfect for an early breakfast for some, brunch, and on special holidays like Easter.
Right.
We definitely would have that on Easter. You are just not into eggs so much, are you?
Runny,
in any form.
Runny, scrambled I can do. I can do them, but like the runniness of Eggs Benedict just coming out the yolk just doesn't sit well.
Not a fan of the hard-boiled eggs I bring in to work every day.
Or deviled eggs, or we could name a whole list of them. Yeah, pretty much.
Our desks are a little close.
But you're so nice. She does like leave and she goes kind of far away and eats them, so I love you for that.
My smelly snacks.
Stay with us. More GMT continues right now at 6.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
Now on Good Morning Tucson, as the smoke clears at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, here is a live look what crews are finding as they survey the damage. Plus, new this morning, one man is dead after a shooting and alleged home invasion, what Tucson police were able to learn overnight.
And after more than 2 years of construction, yes, relief is in sight for drivers at I-10 Road and I-10. We're going to take a live look at how the commute is going on this Tuesday morning. Thanks so much for being with us, everybody. I'm Mark Charter.
And I'm Whitney Clark. Again, thank you for waking up with us now at 6 a.m. A reminder this morning as our temps really continue to warm up, especially if you have children and animals.
Yeah, this is a big one. Childrenandcars.org is raising awareness on this National Heat Stroke Prevention Day. The organization is partnering with safety advocates to help prevent tragedies of children and pets dying in hot cars. Kids in Cars is reminding everyone to always check the back seat when driving with little ones and to take action by calling 911 if you do see a child alone in a car. April, we cannot stress that enough. It is so important, especially this time of year, right?
Yes, cars with children, people, pets, all the above, and couldn't be better timing. Although we're going to be cooler today, that 90 is fast approaching by Friday. 54 outside right now, calm winds, not too bad. That's going to change today, though, as our next storm does approach. We'll see increasing clouds, cooler temps with winds anywhere up to 25 miles per hour. Are the roads getting better, Big Al?
April, they are. 601, just an exception out here in the area of Rita Ranch. At Kolb Road, just north of Valencia, actually a little west of Rita Ranch for a fender bender in the construction zone of the Valencia and Kolb Road project. Well, what do we say? 2 years, it's done. Boom! I-10 east and westbound, the I-10 Road on and off ramps are open. My colleague Veronica Acosta is on scene. Veronica, a big day for us. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Big Al. Yeah, a very big day for the folks here in Marana and folks who more than 2 years ago used to use those off and on ramps here at I-9 and I-10. A $128 million project, most of it now complete. And I would go ahead and say probably a good part of it, probably one of the most important portions of it, getting onto that highway now finished as of right around 5:30 this morning. So we do have Tom Herman with us here this morning, who woke up bright and early.
There you go.
Tom, very happy this morning. A lot of drivers a little confused, but they're getting the hang of it.
This has been a 2-year project. We've been working very long. I know it's been a challenge for the community while we've been doing the work, but I think they'll be happy with the results. This is a nice new interchange. Traffic should flow more smoothly and be a little safer for drivers.
And a big focus of our reporting has been some of the businesses nearby, a lot of them losing a lot of that traffic. You all help them and are continuously helping them get some of that back.
Correct. We've been working with the businesses all throughout the project, as has the RTA, and we are trying to let them know throughout the project how things were going. we're happy to be able to tell them today that all the ramps are open and traffic can come back as normal.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. As you can see, there's still a good amount of barricades in this area, but again, all off and all on ramps are open as of 5:30 this morning. Some drivers already getting to go through those. For now, reporting from Marana, Veronica Acosta, KGUN 9 on your side.
Yeah, seeing some of the first ones go by right there. Veronica, thank you. Tucson police are investigating an alleged home invasion turned shooting that left one man dead. Officers were called to an apartment complex near Mission and Drexel at about 10:30 last night for a different call. When police got there, they say they were flagged down by a group in the parking lot about a man on the ground who had been shot.
Both police and firefighters tried to save him, but he died on scene. The man is said to be in his 30s and has gang affiliations, but his name has not yet been released. Police also learned he and at least one other person allegedly targeted an apartment and were able to get inside. That's when some kind of altercation happened between the people there and shots were fired. No one is in custody. If you have any information, you're asked to call 88 Crime. Some safety news for you now. Almost 6:04 this morning. One group is offering a big incentive to make sure people are taking recalled cars in for repair.
Well, this comes after the death of a Buckeye man was linked to a Takata airbag recall. Here's how it's going to work. People sign up for an account on the Karma Project website, all right? Once they do that, users send links about the car recall to family and friends. If they use those links, users are going to get $5 as a reward. Then, if they get their airbag fixed, they're going to get another $50. The Karma Project says drivers are more likely to trust people they know.
Because everyone, they're busy. They receive a lot of mail, a lot of junk mail. They get a lot of calls from numbers they don't recognize.
To see if a car is part of the recall, users take pictures of the license plates. That program is funded by Toyota. However, though, all vehicle brands are included. Inmate access to Wi-Fi was at the center of a standoff at the Pima County Jail nearly a month ago.
So sources say 36 inmates refused to lock down. The Pima County Sheriff's Department tells us the inmates were upset over temporarily losing access to their Wi-Fi on their tablets. So it happened during a shift change, so the pod officer called for backup. As corrections officers started showing up, they ordered the inmates to lock down several times, but they refused. Sources say when enough staff arrived, about 60 officers, they overpowered the inmates. Sheriff's officials say 14 inmates were written up and 6 of those were removed from that unit for refusing staff directives. A mother charged with imprisoning her 3 daughters, feeding them rancid food and forcing them to beg to go to the bathroom, pleaded guilty in court yesterday. Richter had been serving a 20-year sentence on these charges when she was granted a new trial. An appeals court ruled her defense should have allowed to try to convince jurors she helped her husband abuse the girls because she was afraid of him.
Also in court yesterday, the man accused of killing 2 young girls, Isabel Celis and Maribel Gonzalez. Both of the girls' parents were there too. Attorneys and prosecutors for Christopher Clements spoke to the judge about how to resolve a defense effort to throw out the murder and kidnapping indictments. The judge gave defense attorneys 2 weeks to gather evidence to back up their claim that prosecutors unfairly underplayed evidence that might help clear Clements.
Well, if you plan to spend some outdoors this week or this weekend, something you always kind of need to keep an eye out for, where Arizona Game and Fish captured the first bear sighting of the year on video.
Plus, the search for answers continues this morning after a fire left the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris heavily damaged. Why the church is not just important to the people in France. And we now know when the U.S. Attorney General will release the report on Russian election interference. What William Barr says the pages do not reveal. 6:06, you're watching Good Morning Tucson.
ça tombe. Oh putain, mec, ça tombe. Oh là 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 là. Oh putain, la vache.
It really was just shocking to see. You could hear the bystanders there as they watched in Paris as the iconic spire of the Notre Dame Cathedral collapsed. The massive fire devastated large parts of the 850-year-old church. The fire is now under control, and the French President Emmanuel Macron has promised the cathedral will be rebuilt. Now, this is a live look we're seeing on our screen here of the cathedral this morning. It's already the afternoon in Paris, and we're learning that crews were able to get kind of a closer look at the remains today.
That's right. Those teams are going to go through the church just to see exactly how bad the damage is, and also look at the structure itself to see how much can be rebuilt and what needs to be knocked down. We still don't know the cause of that fire, and it started yesterday, of course, in Paris, but authorities say they think it may be connected to a $135 million renovation project. Now, it took about 8 hours to get the flames put out, and about 400 firefighters as well.
There are a number of things that were lost in the fire, but we know some precious artifacts were saved. You can see it on your screen here. The Paris mayor tweeted this photo saying, "Thanks to the Paris Fire Brigade, the police and other agents, the Crown of Thorns, and all of the other major agencies that played a role in putting out the fire." Well, landmarks like the cathedral are not just important for people in Paris.
Right. So KGUN 9 spoke to the Dean of Architecture at the University of Arizona. She said that monuments like this are meant to inspire wonder to those who walk through the doors. She also spoke about the significance of Notre Dame for the French and Catholics in every country.
These historic places, these historic monuments are ones that mean an awful lot to not only the people of France, but we have so many examples of this kind of heritage that is universal in its appeal, and heritage that is so important to our identity.
Lots of people are curious, but we still don't know how long the rebuilding process is going to take or how much the rebuild is going to cost. Well, we're taking a closer look at the college admissions scandal this morning. The charges both actress Lori Loughlin and her husband say they are not guilty of.
Plus, more severe weather is on the way to parts of the country that are trying to clean up still. What those in the Central Plains can expect later this week.
And we've got rain headed our way. We're going to talk about just how much we could get. That's coming up. It's 6:11. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Welcome back. Now it's 6:15. Time to check in around the nation. It is a somber anniversary in Virginia. Today is the 12th anniversary of the mass shooting at Virginia Tech. 32 people died when a 23-year-old student opened fire on the campus on April 16, 2007. He later took his own life. A wreath laying and moment of silence will be held this morning. A number of exhibits to honor the victims are open on campus, and the annual Remembrance Blood Drive will be held. Governor Ralph Northam has ordered flags to fly at half-staff until sunset tonight. The man accused of plowing his car into a crowd in Times Square back in 2017 is due in court today.
The police say Navy vet Richard Rojas jumped a curb and ran down crowds for 3 blocks, killing an 18-year-old woman and injuring more than 20 others. He has been charged with murder and attempted murder. He told police that God made him do it. Rojas has pleaded not guilty. Meantime, actress Lori Loughlin and her designer husband have pleaded not guilty in the college admissions scam. The couple is accused of paying $500,000 in bribes to get their 2 daughters into the University of Southern California. 13 defendants, including actress Felicity Huffman, have agreed to plead guilty.
The man accused of throwing a 5-year-old boy off a balcony at Minnesota's Mall of America is due in court today. There he is on your screen. 24-year-old Emmanuel Aranda faces an attempted murder charge. On Friday, witnesses say he either pushed or threw the boy from the 3rd level to the 1st level of the mall. According to the boy's family, he is in critical condition. Prosecutors will request that the suspect's bail be set at $2 million. We now know the Attorney General Bill Barr is planning to release Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russian election interference on Thursday morning.
That's right. The nearly 400-page report will be redacted when it's released to Congress and the American public. Barr has said the report did not find the Trump campaign conspired with Russia.
The storm system that caused death and damage in parts of the country this weekend is gone, but gusty winds remain, and forecasters say more severe weather is actually expected soon. Cleanup is underway in the South, Midwest, and parts of the East Coast. Forecasters say another strong storm is expected in the Central Plains midweek with the threat of more tornadoes.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side, First Warning Weather with meteorologist April Madison.
6:17, and we have another spring storm fast approaching. Right now it's calm, kind of the calm before the storm. What you'll feel later today, though, is certainly that wind as our clouds begin to increase. We're at 54 so far. That has been the low, not only at the airport, but 53 here on the east side. We do have some increasing moisture, though. Yesterday, teens and 20s. You can see it is going up, so that's going to help us a little bit with this wind not becoming a fire concern. Breezy winds, though, will turn into downright gusty winds by this afternoon, possibly as high as 30, with sustained winds anywhere from 15 to 25 from Tucson south and east, as well as the higher elevations. The other thing we're going to see is a cold front moving through, so we won't be cold, but we'll certainly be much cooler. Yesterday we hit 87 in Tucson. 79 is all we're going to see for the high today, so a lot of 70s with only a few 80s popping up on the map. 75 in Saddlebrook, 79 Tucson, upper 70s for Casa Grande and Phoenix. We're also going to see right about 80 for Oro Valley, Marana, Tucson Estates, Corona de Tucson, and Vail, both at 78. There it is. It's going to move really from the northwest, crossing down to the southeast, but it's going to be mostly a late to overnight event. If anything, a lot of you will likely end up sleeping through it. We'll see maybe some showers, light showers by 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, overnight into the early morning hours of Wednesday, and then it's going to move through pretty quickly. Can't rule out a little bit of lightning, maybe a few slight thunderstorms with this system as well, but because of how fast it's moving, we're not anticipating a whole lot of rain. It's just not going to last long enough to bring us a lot of accumulation. Maybe a few flurries in the highest peaks of the White Mountains, but otherwise likely under a half inch for most locations, really only a few hundredths of an inch for most locations. Cooler air today, and then again tomorrow as it exits to the east, we'll see a high of just 73, but boy, a fast rebound. Not only back to the 80s Thursday, but now to the 90s on Friday with that high of 94, and then back down to the 80s just in time for your Easter Sunday. Big Al?
April at 6:19. Big day for our friends on the northwest side that like to use either on or off the freeway, Ina Road. Ina, all ramps are open now. All that's left at the Ina interchange is just some cleanup work. You can see that they have shifted the traffic over. They'll remove a lot of this barricade activity, remove the barricades off to the right side of the roadway, some cleanup, some maintenance work that goes on there. Still working on Ina over the top of Interstate 10, although it's usable. Not all lanes are usable right now. And then west of the freeway, the piece on Ina between I-10 and Silverbell has yet to be complete. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
All right, Big Al, thanks a lot. If you plan to spend some time outdoors, state wildlife officials are reminding you to be bear aware.
The Arizona Game and Fish Department has had its first confirmed bear sighting of this year. The video you're about to see, there it is, was posted to the department's Twitter page. It's from the Red Ridge Trail in the Santa Catalina Mountains. Officials say it's a sign for hikers to secure all food and garbage. If a bear happens to approach you, the department says to yell and wave your arms.
Well, speaking of wildlife, look, there are two brand new eaglets in California this morning. The second egg in the bald eagle nest in Big Bear Lake has hatched. The webcam perched near the nest has given the world a view into that nest since early March. Lots of people have seen that. The first egg hatched Sunday morning. Since it's cool in the area, the parents have been busy keeping those newborns warm. Got to sit on top of the egg.
Cute.
And the newborn.
All right, well, if you're waiting to get your hands on Samsung's latest smartphone, get your wallets ready when you can pre-order the foldable phone and how much it's going to cost you.
And later, Reese's is giving fans the chance to enjoy its peanut butter eggs after Easter. How you can win your chance at the treats. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. Good morning to you at 6:23. You know, AT&T is cutting ties with Hulu. The company sold all of its shares back to the streaming service for $1.4 billion. That deal puts Hulu's value at $15 billion. Just last year, Hulu was divided evenly between Disney, Fox, and Comcast. But now Disney has gained control after buying Fox and AT&T, selling its nearly 10% stake. Disney now owns about 66% of the service. Comcast owns 33%. Guinness Beer apparently getting rid of plastic ring packaging.
The company behind Guinness says it will also stop using shrink wrap for beer multi-packs. Instead, it is switching to 100% recyclable and biodegradable cardboard. The new packaging will be introduced in Britain and other markets in summer 2020. Plastic rings, which have been used for decades, pose a risk to wildlife and have been heavily linked to increased ocean pollution. Well, the next generation in smartphones is coming. You can now buy Samsung's foldable phone, the Galaxy Fold.
Take a look. It's interesting. The 4.6-inch smartphone can open up into a 7.3-inch tablet. So it's like a two-in-one deal, right? AT&T has begun accepting pre-orders online, and T-Mobile will start selling it in stores and online on the 26th of April. The Galaxy Fold costs $1,980. It's a hefty price tag. AT&T says customers can pay in installments of $66 a month for 30 months with eligible service.
Quite a phone, isn't it?
It is.
Much more than just a phone.
Yes.
All right, if you're a fan of Reese's peanut butter eggs, look at that. Not my freezer. Wish it was my freezer.
Not mine, no.
You could get your hands on some of the treats long after the Easter season ends. So the company is actually freezing batches of the iconic candy and then will give them away during the upcoming summer. For your chance to win, Reese's social media accounts have a link to sign up. Now, if you win, you'll get 36 individually wrapped eggs delivered to your doorstep. I will say, a lot of candy is actually better frozen.
It is. I didn't realize people were such fans of the eggs.
Oh, they're so good.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Okay, well, it's a new kind of test happening in Phoenix that could keep all our mail carriers safe.
The simple tool some are carrying as an extra line of defense against some pets.
And hey, all off and on ramps at I-10 and I-10 now officially open as of right around 5:30 this morning. Coming up, we're giving you all the details about this now finished project. That's next. You're watching Good Morning Tucson.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
Now on Good Morning Tucson, keeping you safe on the roads as you head out this morning. The extra enforcement by Oro Valley Police and where you could see them.
Plus, after years of waiting, drivers and businesses will start seeing some relief with the reopening of I-10 and I-10. All those ramps out there open this morning. How it could make your drive smoother. A lot of people have been waiting for that one. Hey, good morning to you, Tucson. I'm Whitney Clark.
I'm Mark Charter. Again, thank you so much for joining us. It is a really big day for our friends on the northwest side, and even for those of us who live on the east side. When you want to get to the freeway, it's going to be a little bit easier. Big Al joining us now with a look at traffic conditions in our area. Hey, Big Al, good morning.
A whole lot easier for everyone, Mark. Good morning to you. Good morning, Whitney. We have this wreck on the east side. Get to this first. This is at Kolb and Valencia in another big construction zone. Kolb and Valencia just north of the intersection. The air is not good today. It's not smoky, it's hazy, and it's dusty, but you can see that's the westbound ramp. Eastbound is all open as well. All the ramps at the I-9 and I-10 interchange are open this morning. My colleague Veronica Acosta is there to tell us more and to celebrate with us. Veronica, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Big Al. A lot of folks who are driving past here still a little bit confused, trying to figure out whether those ramps are open or not. We've reported about this I-9 and I-10 situation for a lot now. It's been happening for over 2 years. It's a $128 million project. This portion, as you can see, all finished now. We do have Tom Herman with us this morning. He's with the Arizona Department of Transportation. Tom, what